Your shirt is like that color looks great on you.
Thank you. I like it.
So good. Hi.
Hi, Sula. We're recording already. We always record early.
I love your background. It's so appropriate.
Hello.
Do you like my background?
I love your background.
She was just showing me. She's got it in a bowl right there.
I have the stuff that I made.
The Robin version.
The Robin version. So at times we just jump right into the podcast, Sula, because Sula is a listener. And Sula and I had worked together since 2002. And I've always known Sula as a baker. And I remember Sula as her famous cheesecake that she would bring into the office and people would beg her to make a cheesecake. Sula and I recently caught up with each other and I decided to go peruse her website and noticed that there was this tapioca fruit salad. And I thought, I'm sure I can make this. Because all of our listeners know I don't really cook very well. My husband does not like my cooking. It's rare that I make anything that he likes. And I thought, how can I really mess up tapioca fruit salad? So I looked up the recipe, super easy. And you also have to let the Jell-O sit overnight. So I thought, okay, well, I can make it today and then let it sit overnight. Well, I thought I followed the recipe because I did. So it was, there's a Robin.
That makes sense.
So a 3-ounce box of tapioca pudding, a 3-ounce box of any other type of pudding. So
vanilla pudding
is probably what most people would pick. I had lime Jell-O at home, but it was sugar-free, but it was 3 ounces of Jell-O. So
I was wondering why it was green.
Yeah, it's lime.
Okay, that makes better sense. I was worried for a second why yours was green.
But it's also mixed with orange and lemon because if you get sugar-free Jell-O, it comes in 0.3 ounces. So of course I'm doing the math and how many packets of 0.3 ounces of Jell-O do I need to make 3 ounces of Jell-O? So I'm just throwing stuff in. And I get to the point where I'm out of lime Jell-O, and now I'm out of orange Jell-O, and now I'm out of lemon sugar-free Jell-O, but I do have Knox unflavored gelatin, and that comes in a 1-ounce packet. So I needed 1.5 ounces, and I tossed in a packet and a half. And I thought it seemed really weird, so I continued to follow the directions of 3 cups of, boiling water, almost boiling water. Pour it in. I'm stirring up a storm. I do the 3-minute. I watched the video 3 times before I made this. And I had to send a message to Sula because this was not working. Like it didn't seem like it was right. Only to find out that it should have been regular Jell-O or 1.3 ounce box of sugar-free Jell-O. So I added in, I don't know, like 5 extra boxes that I didn't need.
Why? Basically, I think you added you had 10 times the amount of Jell-O that you needed for that amount of water. So
I figured that out real quick.
I'm surprised you could get a spoon in it the next day.
So the next day, you guys know me, I am all about experimenting. I'll just keep going with something just to see what it turns out like. Well, it tasted really good while it was still liquid. The next day, I could barely get a spoon in it. Sula thought it would turn out like a brick, which it did. But what I did was I just said, forget it. I am going to put this on a cutting board and I am going to cut it into little baby chunks. And then I'm going to follow the rest of the directions with the fruit in the Cool Whip. And you know what? It tastes delicious.
It makes me worried for your stomach.
No.
Is it going to be able to digest that?
Yeah. Yeah.
God, Robin, you're making me cringe.
Why?
Rock Jell-O.
It's not though. It's not. It's not. It's just
a
firm
to it.
It's just a firm texture.
Can you like bite through it so I can see how easy it is to bite through it?
Yeah.
Like I'm just picturing really hard. Like, okay, that's not terrible.
It's stuck to her teeth.
It's like it's almost like a gummy, like
Yes.
or like a Turkish delight or something.
Right. So
Gummy
Jello.
Jello.
Yeah.
Jello.
So the thing is, Robin, I think you'll like it even better if you follow the directions.
You could make it into a gummy where you take this blocks and then roll it in some sugar, like
Oh,
some
wow.
crystal sugar.
No sugar.
I'm just saying,
Sugar.
if you want to,
You could, yeah.
like something funky, like your own gummy bear, like a sour gummy worm or something.
Right.
Mhm.
But so the combination of, what was it, lime, lemon, and orange Jello,
Mhm.
and that was pretty good.
Interesting.
It honestly, it's delicious. It
It's
really is
different.
very good. Yes. It
So
is.
it's got to be
it
very
looks pretty good.
intense
It looks-
flavor.
What's that?
It's got to have an intense flavor, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Honestly, it is
It didn't
really
look
good.
that bad. Yeah, it didn't look like it was too hard.
Mm-mm,
just
not at
firm.
all.
When you
It is, it's-
described it as brick, maybe it freaked me out a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. The brick had me concerned. Yeah.
Mm-mm. Gummy
Okay.
Jello.
It just reminds me of like tofu. Like, you know, how,
Extra
like
firm.
sometimes extra, like the regular Jello is like the regular soft tofu, and then the hard tofu is the kind you have to cut into blocks.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, this is extra firm tofu gummy
firm
Jello. Delicious. Like I might even just make it the same way again because it's honestly that good.
Really.
I'm
I'm
into
dead
it.
serious. I am absolutely serious. It's
I've
good.
done that before. I have these weird things that I make, like that just like I literally did it before I came on the thing. I just go in a cast iron skillet, I just put cheese, like, and then you fry it and it just becomes like a cheese cracker, and it's like no carb, and I just crunch
Yep.
on them. They taste
Oh,
like
yeah.
cheese bits, and I just made like 5 of them before I got on here.
That's yummy. The thing is, you know, and I always like to think of this as that, you know, everybody has a kitchen superpower if you think about it, you know,
Mhm.
like you should, and if you think you don't, you should find it, because there's probably one thing, at least one thing everyone can
Mhm.
make and make amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And this might be Robin's, is making the gummy
That's all. Just
fruit
need to be known
salad.
for one thing.
I'm all about it.
Yep.
Oh, I can see it.
Mhm. It's good.
You can take it to the in-laws for Christmas.
Actually, I was thinking of doing that. Doing a nut, but doing it with
Whatever.
the real sugar. I'm the only one who doesn't do a lot of sugar or salt. But I
Mhm.
did think of taking it like the regular Jello
Right.
with the different puddings and doing it the correct way instead of,
Mhm.
Robin's 3 ounces of sugar-free Jello.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, I still think you could use a sugar-free Jello for it. I really
Yeah.
do. But
Yeah.
just use one. Just one.
One. Mhm.
Yeah.
Just one, please, dear God. Just one.
Please make it one.
Please, only one.
Because what you're missing out on is, so in the version behind you, what happens is that pudding kind of breaks down and it combines with the Cool Whip.
Mm-hmm.
So right now you have your little gummy bricks that are coated in Cool Whip.
They're not bricks.
Gummy.
They look like, honestly, you know what they look like is ice cubes.
They do, like little cubes.
They do. Yeah,
Gummy cubes.
they do. But they're delicious ice cubes, I'm telling you.
I could actually, I bet they're full of flavor. I don't have any trouble believing that.
Mhm. Super good.
That is too funny.
Giant Sprite.
I love it. I just love it.
I mean, my
Okay.
nails and my hair are going to be phenomenal with all the
yeah.
gelatin.
Oh yeah. Think of all the gelatin.
Does that help your nails and hair?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. I think it's just one of those, it's keratin, I think, which is what your nails and hair are made of.
I
So
learned something new today.
yeah.
There you go.
Oh my gosh, Robin.
I know. I mean,
I'm like, when
Yeah.
will this? Every time I think it's going to end, it just kept going. Your story.
Yeah.
And realize that I don't think I've ever described this salad as a health food or good for your hair and nails. So this wasn't what we were trying for.
No, not at all. But what we did come up with after I sent some video chats to Sula on my concoction was that I do need to foolproof Sula's recipes. And the next recipe I'm going to be making is pepper steak. So we'll see if Sula has to change yet again another recipe.
And actually, I have to be honest. I mean, the fault is mine. You know, it's my job as the food blogger to make the recipe super easy to understand and to make it in such a way that you can't possibly misconstrue what the directions are. So that's 100% on me, really.
I like to think of it as a team effort, Sula.
Team effort.
Yes, we'll go with that. It's a team effort on proofing my recipes.
I'm kind of blown away. Why is there such a stark difference in the weight of sugar-free and sugar Jello?
Well, there's no sugar.
So it's just, did it taste sugar? It doesn't have like a stevia or anything in it?
It has a, yeah, I don't know what they use.
Mhm.
They use something though, and it doesn't weigh as much as sugar.
Interesting.
Yeah. So there you have it. So listeners, welcome to the podcast, Sula May Yeager, who we call Sula,
Right.
and her website is sulaandspice.com. Welcome to the episode.
Thank you. Are we done?
Well, some of our listeners might not want to continue to listen to my cooking, but
You want to listen to your cooking?
yes, we want
Right.
to hear all about you and your journey.
Yeah,
My
because
journey?
to get started.
Yeah, because I thought I knew quite a bit about you and how you got started, but I was really surprised that I really didn't know your real story.
Yeah, cool. Well, so it's kind of funny how this started because I retired from the real world in 2019, and I had announced it 4 months in advance, and people kept asking, well, what are you going to do, Sula? What are you going to do? And you have to come up with something. So I was like, I don't know. I'm thinking maybe I might start a food blog. And that was really about as much thought as I gave it. And the information kind of took off, where people were like, did you hear Sula's going to start a food blog? And so after a few people came up to me in the hallways and said, I hear you're starting a food blog, I thought, well, maybe I guess I really have to do this now. And so I knew that I didn't know anything about it. So luckily I found a class at our local community college, which taught how to use WordPress, which is the most commonly used software for most websites. And again, I'm kind of in a setting where everyone else is a webmaster for some company, and I'm Susie, food blogger over here. I just want to start a blog, but held my own. I've got some certificate in something, and but it was good. It was a great class, and I just started posting recipes, and before I did it, and when I started to think about how am I going to approach this, I jotted down what would I even put down, and I came up with like 100 to 150 ideas right off the top of my head. Just no problem. These are things I've made all my life. No big deal. So I had no shortage of ideas. And my plan, my business plan, let's call it a business plan. And by the way, I follow the philosophy of my favorite philosopher, John Bon Jovi, who says, write out your plan, but do it in pencil. And that's so that you can always erase and rewrite it. And so my initial plan was to post a recipe 3 times a week for the first year.
Okay.
I felt this pressure to build up my content and get enough out there. And then after that first year was up, my plan was to then figure out, so how do you grow this beyond just what you're doing? How do you get a following? How do you get people to find your recipes? And I kind of followed that. And then when I was getting toward the end of that first year, it was spring of 2020. I was scheduled to go to a conference on blogging. And guess what happened in the spring of 2020? Every conference everywhere got canceled.
Mhm.
And so my money got refunded, and I thought, okay, I can either go buy a bunch of shoes, which would be really fun. But I really felt like I had to reinvest in myself. And so I really went looking for what are some education opportunities that can take me to somewhere, teach me now, what am I doing wrong and what should I be doing differently? And I found a fantastic class. Best decision I ever made. It was relatively expensive, I think, for an online class. It was $500. And I took plenty of $30 here and $50 there, but I was like, whoa, 500, okay. Well, now it's an investment, right? But it really and truly made all the difference.
Wow.
That was a class that taught you how to understand Google and Google searching, and how to figure out for any given search, how many people even look for that? I mean, are you the only person in the world who looks for this, or are there 10,000 people every month who are looking for the exact same thing?
Have you heard, this is like a total off tangent. Have you heard of the website Ask the Public?
Yes, I have.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I think not many people have heard of it. Robin, have you heard of it?
No, I haven't.
I was about to say you probably had then, Sula,
Yes.
by doing that class. But it's a cool website, and you go and you type in like your topic, and it like brings up like the who, what, when, where, and why of what people are looking up. Like, so it'll be like if you looked up potatoes, it'd be like how to make potato fries. How do potatoes grow? And it like takes the topic and looks up what the most trending things people are looking up, so that you can like write SEO.
Right. Exactly.
Like,
yes, this is all SEO. Exactly.
Right. It's a cool website.
And I have not used that website enough. It's a way.
I don't either. It's a cool website.
Yeah, but it's a way to put more depth in your posts, basically, and have questions and frequently asked questions.
Yeah, I guess that, it's like a frequently asked questions website where like, what are people looking up about your topic? Like, what questions do they want to ask, so that you can cater your blog posts to what people are asking.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
It's cool.
It's really interesting, isn't it? I mean, the data that's out there is just crazy.
Yeah.
And the detail that is crazy. It was just, it's one of those things where going into this, I had no idea. Absolutely no idea. Are you kidding me? There's all this data out there. There's all this information. I mean, what is that? It's just so different.
How did you determine what class to go with? I mean, there are thousands of classes, just like there's tons of data. What made you, like, what platform did you use, or was it like a Udemy or something, or what made you decide on that particular class?
Because by then I had joined several Facebook groups that were other food bloggers. And that class came up time and time again.
Okay.
And it just, so many people recommended it.
Interesting. Well, that's always good when people have actually taken the class.
Right.
Proof that it's good.
And like really successful people.
Right.
So that definitely, like I say, it's just the best investment I've ever made.
That's amazing.
Can one or the other of you explain to us newbies what SEO stands for?
Yes.
Go Sula.
SEO stands for search engine optimization.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, when Sula was telling me about this on Saturday, I was floored. I had never heard of this tool that can help you figure out words, figure out how many people are searching for this. We were talking about sentences, and do people type in sentences into Google? Do they type into, specific words? How does that all work? And I was just mind blown. I'd never even thought of that type of search engine before. I never even thought about what words have the highest rate of hits, or what words should you use in your blogs?
Right, right. And it's a matter of, so as a relatively new website, where can I compete? And it is competing. Everyone's trying to get to the first page of Google. And so if you type in and you're looking for a chili recipe, and if you just type in chili, you will probably see Betty Crocker, Martha Stewart, Gordon Ramsay, maybe. So I'll never be there. But the question is then, what will it take to be there? Because there are lots of people who type in chili and think, this isn't anything what I'm looking for.
Right.
So they might be looking for chili with pumpkin, or chili with black beans, or chili without beans. And so finding those, they're called long tail keywords, where instead of just going for one or two words, you're looking for a combination of words, that there are enough people looking for that. And it's much more specific, and the big guns out there aren't necessarily targeting that. And then that's where there's room for someone like me.
So we also talked about using words like old-fashioned chili.
Right.
Yeah.
I just updated my chili recipe to say old-fashioned chili, and I'll see if that gets me any mileage. That's one of them. That was one of on my initial list of 100, where it's like, well, I've made chili for years, I can just do chili. And then after I took the class, I'm like, well, that was the dumbest thing in the world to post.
I just made chili the other day, and I did not follow a recipe, and I regret it. And now I'm like, I need to look at your chili recipe. Well, it wasn't bad. I winged it and winged it. But it was not. But now I'm like, what would I even look up? Because I probably am that person that looks up just chili.
Right.
But I like chili that's, I don't know, I'm on that website looking up chili right now. Which, by the way, correction, it's called answerthepublic.com, not ask the public. But yeah, like a lot of these are about chili peppers though.
Well, right.
Yep. See?
It's interesting because what they say is sometimes what you need to do is actually just type it into Google and see what other. It's kind of like the Google algorithm is designed to, is trying to figure out what are people usually looking for when they type this in. Like are they looking for a recipe? If you just say chili, are they looking for chili peppers?
Yeah.
So that's why, and I'm the kind of person, so this is what Robin and I talk about. I'm the kind of person that I don't put in whole sentences. I get frustrated, and then I just add another word, and then I'll add one more word. And I'll just keep adding one word until it narrows it down to what I'm looking for.
And I'll put in the whole sentence. I'm one of those sentence people. Right. How do you blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Yeah, I think I'm like you, Sula, now that I think about it. I think I just type in phrases, but like chili recipe easy or something is what I would type in. Right. And it's crazy too. Like, we're kind of on an SEO topic, which probably wasn't what we thought we would be on, but there are so many companies that their whole job is just SEO for other companies. All companies form just to help other companies maximize their SEO. And then there are also all these, I don't know what you use, if you use free SEO I don't know if they're generators, but they kind of help review the data and everything. But there's like Answer the Public's free for like 2 searches a day or something, unless you pay. But then like Google Analytics has its own, doesn't it? Google has its own thing you can pay for.
Yeah, well, you can just sign up for a Google Analytics account, and then I can pull my data anytime.
That's awesome. So that shows you what people are searching to get to your website?
Not exactly.
Okay, what's it pulling?
Because Google, it's kind of one of those firewalls they have where they won't tell you that to that degree. That they want to give people some privacy. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. So there's another way to get at it, but it just takes more work. Gotcha. So Google Analytics, for the most part, tells you I hop on and say, oh, how many visits did I have today?
Mhm.
That
And
kind
you'll
of
have
stuff.
a few because I have been looking at all the recipes. So
Good.
for example, you have browse by categories, by
Now I'm gonna
protein.
go browse the website.
Yep. By protein, by course. And I was really interested in this. My eyes are going all over. I'm not rolling my eyes. I'm looking up at my other screen, at my
I'm
other
like,
monitor. And then everything else. Well, I was putting dishes away yesterday. What is today? Tuesday, yesterday. And I saw, so I have certain recipes that I keep in my silverware drawer underneath my silverware tray. And I found a recipe from Sula that I have kept in that drawer,
You're
which was
kidding.
in my other house under my drawer. So the ones that I use most frequently, it was from one of our old companies that we worked together at. And it was a chicken recipe where you pan fry the chicken and then take the chicken out and use the Lipton vegetable soup mix
Mhm.
and then put that in with some chicken broth and then mushrooms, some cream, and then you put the chicken back in. I think it was it's not chicken marsala, but it was some chicken recipe that you threw on honestly, from our old company from stationery. I'll send you a picture of it. So I was interested to see if that chicken recipe was in sulaandspice.com.
I don't even remember that recipe.
Well, you will when I send it to you.
Okay, I can't.
Ah,
And I would like to see that recipe on Sula and Spice.
Done.
man, I'm
Because
looking at some of
I've
these.
made it so many times.
Man,
And you
that's
probably never
funny.
knew through all these years that I make it.
No. What's really funny is that when you started, you described me as a baker. And
Instead
I
of a
don't,
cook.
I don't consider myself a baker. I really don't. I like to bake some things, but when you look at baking blogs, they have all this beautiful, like, elaborate frosting things they do, and I'm not that kind of person.
So you're more of a cook than a baker.
Yeah, I make plenty of sweets. I definitely, trust me, the dessert category is quite robust. And yes, I do make one heck of a cheesecake.
Yes.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
And that too is not on the blog yet.
Oh, okay.
Oh, crepes. I love crepes.
Oh, so good.
I've never been able to know how to make these, and it's with almond milk. Yum.
Oh yeah, they're very good.
Oh,
And
that's
they're so much easier than you think.
yeah. I've always been afraid of them because they're so thin.
Right.
Like, oh,
I think
surely
most people are.
I'm
Mhm.
afraid because all my stuff always sticks. So
Yeah, the
Looking at
nonstick pan is important.
okay.
What was that, Sula?
I was just saying, yes, a nonstick pan is definitely
Mhm.
important for making crepes.
Crepes. Oh, I did not know that's how you pronounce crepes.
Hoity-toity over here.
It's the French pronunciation.
Okay.
Yes. And then looking at everything else, I see that you have breakfast, dips, low carb and keto, snacks, and desserts. You also have appetizers, main dishes, salad, side dishes, soup, bread, sauces, cocktails, and drinks. And then, like I said, by course, beef, chicken, pork, seafood, and vegetarian for the protein courses. What is the next category you're going to add to sulandspice.com?
That's a good question.
Because I have a few.
Do you have a few? Okay, good. Because like cocktails and drinks, I have those combined because I don't have quite enough non-alcoholic drinks yet to be its own category, but soon that should split off. I don't know if I do make things with turkey and I throw that in with chicken. And I don't know if that confuses people.
So you could have a turkey by protein, split out the chicken and split out the turkey.
Right. But
And then I would like to see
yes,
a little more health food and or Mediterranean diet inspired dishes.
Mediterranean diet.
Which, yeah, and the thing is, like a lot of those dishes are in more than one category.
Yeah.
So I could almost create that category right now, probably. With
Yeah, like
but-
these beef kebabs like are pretty Mediterranean for the most part.
right. So yeah, let me look at that. Because what you're saying is if people are looking for that, they want to
And
find
they
it in
are.
the category, right?
Yeah.
And
That's how I would look at it.
Yeah, I agree. I am on 2 Mediterranean diet lifestyle Facebook groups, and lots of people are coming. Well, I shouldn't say lots of people. Let me rephrase that. The people that are posting are stating that they're coming from the keto and coming on to the Mediterranean, where the Mediterranean has very low red meat, very low eggs, dairy, that type of thing, much more into vegetables, fruits, grains, whole grains,
Seafood, right?
seafood, yep, some fish, shrimp,
Like
yeah,
any white meat is fine for the most part in smaller amount. Like you shouldn't
smaller amounts, yep,
Right.
and then the extra virgin olive oil. And it's really interesting to see how creative some people are with the Mediterranean lifestyle. I have a couple of Mediterranean cookbooks, the lifestyle cookbooks, which are really interesting. So
Cool.
yeah, that's what made me think of that. Is I do feel as if people are switching different food categories to see what works best for them. Food
Right.
allergies, you hear a lot about food allergies.
Yes.
And that's always very interesting to me as well. How do you pinpoint that?
Well, no kidding. I think that's so much work when I've known a few people that have done elimination diets to try to figure it out. And
Mhm.
it's a lot of work.
Yeah. Yeah. What are the next big goals that you're hoping for with your blog? So where are you now and where are you going?
Right. I just achieved a big one, actually.
Tell
Um,
us.
So, and just to put it in perspective, so before I took that course, I think you look at sessions or number of visits to your site in a month. I think I probably was running about 3,000 to 4,000.
Wow.
Yeah, but when you think about it, there's 30 days in a month, so that's really
Yeah.
not that much. So then I took the course, and they tell you it takes probably at least 6 weeks for any change to,
Mhm.
and I'm sorry, 6 months for any change to happen.
Mhm.
And sure enough, it started happening at about 6 months later.
Wow.
So last year in December, it was the first time my blog reached over 20,000 visits in a month,
Ooh.
which was amazing.
Mhm.
Amazing.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So now this year,
Mhm.
last month in November, I reached 50,000.
Wow.
That was my goal.
That is incredible.
It was a big goal, and it's just like you feel like you're just
I'm terrible at math, but that's like over 1,000 a day, right?
Yes.
That's really great.
So I think it's an average about 1,600 or 1,700 a day. But I mean, you get so much more on
That's
weekends than you
great.
do on weekdays, and
Right.
it's not flat by any means.
That is so exciting.
Yeah. So I am joining a new ad network as we speak.
Very cool.
Okay.
Yeah. And what I started doing a few months ago was changing my approach to YouTube. So YouTube, I did it for about a year with these little, I think of them as silent movies, no one's talking and everything's going really, really fast.
Mhm.
And there's just music in the background.
Right.
But at least it kind of showed the steps of doing the recipe.
Mhm.
And so what I started doing in August of this year was doing actual, hi, I'm Sula kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And I'm going to show you how to do this. I still speed things up because no one wants to see me stir something for 5 minutes, you know?
No.
But I can talk through the steps then of how to make the recipe. And
I thought you did a really nice job on the tapioca fruit salad
oh, good,
YouTube video.
good. Yeah, it's kind of like I don't want to drag it out, and I'm not trying to make a 1 hour video.
Yeah.
No, like I say, no one really wants to watch me stir anything. But you need to see the steps.
You
and
do.
You need to see what it looks like. So.
And I think changing it up was a good idea, because I think especially today with COVID, people really appreciate like the personal touch that brings.
Right.
Because we're all trying to figure out, in a world where we're really far apart from each other because we're quarantining, how do we remain in a way that we feel like we're connected to other people? And I think even if they don't know you, they feel like they know you.
Right.
When you're talking to them. At least I do. Like
Mhm.
I love following people on YouTube, especially when I feel I don't know these people, but they feel like close.
Right. And YouTube is just an interesting medium when you think about it.
It really is.
Because it's so, there's a lot of it out there that's just sheer entertainment, and guys doing really extreme things just for people to watch and blink their eyes and say, I can't believe he did that. And like I say, I'm not trying to be that person. I'm not trying to be anyone, but I'm just, here I am in my kitchen. That's why I'm sitting here, because you can see my kitchen behind me.
Love it.
Which is exactly what you see in my YouTube videos.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. This podcast will drop on January 1st of 2022, because Ashley and I discussed that we wanted to start off 2022 with this particular podcast with food and going into the new year.
Mm-hmm.
What can our listeners expect from SulaandSpice.com besides adding or maybe taking, splitting out some of your categories? But what else are your big goals for 2022?
Do I have big goals for 2022?
Because you're a planner, so I'm sure you have something going on in that mind of yours.
So clearly my first goal is to, find a lot of Mediterranean diet type recipes.
I like that.
I definitely will respond to any requests like that. I think I would like to understand even more what people are looking for and how I can help them. And let me tell you something that happened that really, it really almost lit a fire, I guess, for me. It started a year ago. I posted a cranberry sauce, okay? And I made this cranberry sauce from dried cranberries. And, no biggie. It was just kind of like, what if you could do this with craisins, right? And so I did that. And I started hearing from people, and I would get comments on my YouTube channel as well as on my blog. And it never occurred to me, but there are all these American citizens living places where you can't get fresh cranberries. I mean, because it was for Thanksgiving, it's a purely American holiday. So there's no other reason for it. And in other countries, they make cranberry sauce at Christmas and for any other big meal. But Thanksgiving is very much USA. And so I would get comments saying, you know what, I'm an American citizen. I live in Spain with my German husband, and I try to keep these American traditions alive. And you know what? Usually I travel home and pick up cranberry sauce or something there, but it's COVID. I can't travel. So I found your recipe, and I can find dried cranberries here. So I'm making this sauce. And it was so cool. It was so amazing to me, to realize that with something as simple as that, you can connect people. And I heard from people in Brazil, in Italy, Germany, as I said, in Spain. I mean, it was just incredible and something I never, ever imagined. And so I would like to try to really figure out, so what other challenges do people have and I mean, let's face it, food supply is still a challenge today. We can't always get the groceries we want because everybody's saying, oh, can't get truck drivers or disruptions in the supply chain or whatever. And so I would really like to find more creative ways like that to adapt recipes in different ways with more readily available ingredients.
That's a great idea. I mean, I can't think of the amount of times where I'm like trying to figure something out on the fly because it's not working but trying to still make it in a creative way. And
yeah. Or it's the last minute and now the store is sold out. And now what do I do?
Or like you said, like it doesn't, they don't sell it at my store anyways.
Right.
That's so smart. I'm looking at the comments on the cranberry sauce recipe. I also think it's great that you reply to all of them. That's really awesome.
Oh yeah.
You can tell
it really, honestly, it's amazing to me how many people comment on it and thank me for it. And that it really touches you. I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah. That's so cool. Yeah, but oh God, I had a question. I forgot it.
I'll show you something I made today.
Yes.
So today, let me explain what a normal day is for me. So this is kind of a normal day. So I made a martini and I made fudge.
I like that combination.
Right. And the fudge is a new recipe that I'm trying, and I haven't cut it yet. It's chilling right now. And the martini is one that I wanted to get better pictures on. So here's the martini. Can you see that?
Yes.
Very green.
It's called the Baby Yoda martini.
Oh my gosh, and the little ears.
That's adorable.
Brilliant.
Isn't it cute?
I love that. I am going to bring up something else. Photography.
Yes.
It has to be huge for you in food. Sula was telling me about photography on Saturday, and nothing is ever that simple. Nothing is ever that simple. Tell us a little bit about your photography lesson and just setting up shots for your food.
Right. So I started out and I just took pictures with my iPhone. That'll work, right? iPhones take awesome pictures. They do if you have good light.
Lighting is the key.
And when you live in Wisconsin, and the other thing is, there's just an entire group of people out there who will assure you that the only way to take a food photo is in natural light. Well, those people don't live in Wisconsin, and they're not trying to take a picture in February, because I guarantee you need a really good artificial light source in the middle of winter. And so I had to figure out how to take pictures in a way that looks good. And I mean, and the thing is, it has to look good on your computer screen, but also on a phone screen. And it has to be vivid and jump out at you and yet still look like the food. And let's face it, a lot of food is brown. It just is. So I make green things, just to kind of liven things up. But I finally decided I had to take the leap and get a real camera, a DSL camera. I bought it on eBay, used, in January. I turned it on in April. And that's when I found out, it needs an SD card. So then I had another reason not to take pictures with it. And then I got an SD card and I just struggled and took all these crazy pictures. And thankfully, as things started to open up from COVID, our local camera store, which is simply awesome, offered an in-person photography class. And you could take, they offered classes specific to Nikon, specific to Canon users. And then they also offered classes understanding the light and exposure and all those elements of photography. So I took the Nikon class and then the ISO exposure type class. And those, I was just so grateful. And as it turns out, the person teaching it is someone that Robin and I also know from our former employer. So I walk in and say, Ed. So that was fun. But it really, it got me down the right path. And so now I take if you take process shots in the kitchen where you're just saying, okay, here's a quick shot of me stirring or adding or whatever, that's usually with the iPhone still. But what they call a hero shot, which is the feature photo, what you see when you pull up a search for me or for my recipe, that's taken with a DSL camera. And that's why I made Mr. Yoda today, because I wanted a better picture of him.
So
and that's when I rank for. If you search on Baby Yoda drink, I'm in the top 5, I think, for that.
Oh my gosh.
So.
What is your process? So this is like maybe a loaded question. So like you get an inspiration, like a Baby Yoda drink or whatever.
Right.
You say, and then you experiment, or like, let's say you say, I want to make this chicken dish. You say, I want to make this chicken dish. Then you experiment to see the flavors, because I mean, most chefs are good about just throwing things. Right. And but at the end of the day, you have to measure that out so your people know what to do. And then you write up a blog, you figure it out, you figure out the combination, you write a blog post, and you do SEO. Like, what is the process of getting an idea to the page?
Right. So if you ask any expert, they'll tell you there's no such thing as a brand new recipe. We all basically just revise other recipes or past recipes we've made successfully before. Mm-hmm. I will tell you that the hardest part of someone who likes to cook, starting a food blog, is realizing you have to measure stuff.
Right.
You actually have to measure stuff.
I just throw stuff. I never measure it. So I'm like, I can't imagine what it's like being a food blogger where you have to measure it and you have to try.
There are several of my recipes that I had to keep making them with different measurements, because I was like, well, I don't know. I just add until it seems about right. And now I have to, I'll make it, and then I'll think, okay, well, I think that was about a teaspoon. So next time I'll make it and actually measure everything, and then decide whether that's enough of each of those spices. The spices are the toughest, for sure. Yeah, they're definitely the toughest, because most people do. If you are an experienced cook, that's how you cook. And so actually coming up with measurements is really hard.
Well, and then you have to come up with serving size and then the nutritional values at the bottom of your recipes.
Right.
So that too, when you're dieting or looking to cut calories, that's something else that we do, which really appreciate to have that nutritional value down at the bottom. Because if we make up our own healthy dishes, which I have, and most of them don't taste very good, so get on it, Sula. But you do, it's a time-consuming process to say, okay, I used how many beans, or I used how much quinoa, and then I used chicken broth, and then I used a couple of carrots, and then saying, okay, this makes how many cups, and then is a cup really the serving size? How do you figure out the serving size?
Right.
And then once you figure out the serving size, then you still need to figure out all the nutritional components. There again, nothing is ever easy.
No. And they're called plugins that you can purchase for your website that help with that, like that. So I have a plugin for that recipe card, which is a printable recipe card as well as a program, like everything. So just assume everything I mentioned costs another $100. Okay, that because that's how it seems to add up.
Yeah.
But then, so then you have another level where you can have, and it will do those calculations for you.
Mhm.
You have to tell them how many serving sizes. You have to check that what you put in for ingredients is lining up and making sense for what it's saying. And that's why there's a disclaimer, because I don't have a laboratory equipment that's telling me how many calories this is. I'm just telling you, and this is an estimate. But the reason I did that, and I did that right from the beginning, is because I value that. I've always valued that whenever I look online and look for a recipe. Give me a sense here. Do I expect an awesome looking cheesecake to be only 50 calories per piece? No, I don't.
Wish.
But for certain recipes, when you're trying to be health conscious, I kind of want to have a sense, Is it high in fat and low in carbs? Is it super high in carbs but super low in fat? And what are my goals, and what do I want from this recipe? And so, like I say, that was a value for me, and so that was important for me to have that in every one of mine.
I love that.
I keep thinking of more and more things you could do. You could do low calorie snacks. You could do low salt, low
Because she's
sugar.
gonna be your consultant.
Yes, well, I am going to
And I'll
try
reap the
several.
benefits.
Yes, several of Sula's recipes to see what else I can break.
Because that would
Right?
be, I
Right,
mean,
that'll be good.
there's so many subcategories, like easy, like taking lunches to work, and like,
That's Ashley's.
yeah, I
Oh,
love
really?
I prep all my meals on like Sunday, and I like things that are easy to take to work, but also like a little bit different every time. Although I just made, I don't know what I did, but I perfected it. I've figured out cauliflower rice, but fried cauliflower rice.
Oh,
And
yum.
I figured it out, and it's taken me forever to get cauliflower rice to taste good, but now it tastes like fried rice, and I'm so proud, and I've eaten it this entire week so far.
So what was your secret? Did you add a bunch of soy sauce, or how did you make it taste like fried rice?
I think it was just rice vinegar. I used soy sauce too, but the rice vinegar really and then I added egg to it, and it just tastes so good. Like I don't know. I think it was the rice vinegar that made the difference though. Because it was the soy sauce, you put soy sauce in fried rice, but the rice vinegar made it taste like fried rice.
Interesting.
I don't know, but it tastes so good. I've been eating it with my food every day.
And isn't that fun though, when you find something like that, and then you just want to keep having it over and over again?
Good. Yeah.
Yep.
I made a chili, and it was I thought it was good. My boyfriend said it was sweet, but I like.
Yeah, I like sweet also.
I put I put cinnamon in it sometimes, and it tasted good. It was just not, he was like, he didn't dislike it. He's just like, it just doesn't taste like regular chili. I was like, I know.
It's Ashley's chili.
My chili. Well, I just did it all. I just winged it. I didn't look at anything.
Yeah.
I think the sweetness just came from the tomatoes, to be honest.
So Ashley, this is the Sula that loves my Robin and White picture that I put on our website. So Sula, remember the Robin and White picture?
Where she's just doing this?
Oh, yes, Robin in white. I thought you said Robin and White, and I was like, what is that? Robin in White. Yeah, that's
White.
A great picture.
Sula, you should come up with a recipe called Robin in White.
Oh, a drink called the Robin in White.
I think that would be a martini for sure. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's your 2022 goal. Robin in White.
Robin was the first one who introduced me to the grasshopper, and they were delicious.
Really?
I'd never had one before until like a year. I guess it was a year and a half ago.
Is that a Wisconsin thing? It's not just Wisconsin.
I think it's a supper club thing. The pink squirrel and the grasshoppers.
Right.
I had maybe heard of them once in my life, but I had never had an opportunity. Like, they don't really serve them down here. Like, I would have never asked for one.
Right.
It's like, we have to make grasshoppers.
Like some things are just regional and you don't even realize it.
Like, do you have? Oh, go ahead.
For instance, there were some people visiting for a family reunion and we all went out to breakfast.
Mhm.
And we were at a like supper club type place, but they serve brunch, right? And so you could see the bar area where people were, and it was a Sunday, so it's a Packer game, okay? And so this one woman turned to me and she said, what are they drinking over there? And I said, well, they're Bloody Marys. And she said, oh no, I know that. What's next to the Bloody Mary? And I said, well, that's a beer chaser. And she said, a what? And she just didn't understand. And I was like, well, that's how you serve a Bloody Mary. You just have a little bit of beer next to it. And she's just,
Wow, I've
she's
never
from
heard
Florida.
of that. Yeah, I grew up in Florida and I've never heard of that.
Right, see? And so she just was blown away by that.
Do you?
And
And if we go somewhere and order a Bloody Mary and we don't get the beer chaser, we ask, you forgot our beer chaser. And sometimes they'll look at you funny. And then you'll say, oh, where we're from, Bloody Marys come with a beer chaser. And then you have to explain it's really just another little small glass of beer or a medium glass of beer, or just give me the can of beer.
Do you guys have bushwhackers where you are?
I've got a weed whipper.
Yeah, I know. I make fun of Robin for calling it a weed whipper. We have like, they're called bushwhackers here. Maybe they have something up there, but they're basically like, think Wendy's Frosty, but like highly alcoholic.
oh, really?
They're delicious. And it's like I don't know if it's a Nashville thing or something, because I live in Nashville. And you can get bushwhackers all over the place here, but it tastes just like a Wendy's Frosty, but whatever alcohol they put in it's like super alcoholic. They're called bushwhackers. And Robin, when you come down, we'll have a bushwhacker.
That sounds actually very delicious.
Oh,
Sounds really dangerous.
They're very dangerous. Like very
it's just dessert.
Yeah, like it'll knock you on your behind. Like it's really, and you cannot taste the alcohol, but they are like, I don't know what alcohol's in it, but actually I'm gonna Google that. Anyways,
I'll say vodka if you don't taste very much.
And did you try your Baby Yoda?
Oh yeah, I've had them plenty of times.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, remember, this is a remake.
Oh, it's lots of alcohol.
So Baby Yoda is already on the website.
It's okay. It's aged rum, Kahlua, creme de coco, creme de coconut.
Oh,
Okay.
right. All those sweet liqueurs.
Yeah, that's probably why it knocks you on your butt.
I'm surprised you can't trace the rum.
This one, it looks like there's different variations, because this one says something about this one says that you can use vodka, coconut rum, triple sec, amaretto, Irish cream. Like I think it's just an alcoholic milkshake.
Right. Well, that's all a mudslide is, and a whole lot of other ones. So
I think it's just
so not like a grasshopper, right, Robin?
Yeah, we just spell it bushwhacker here.
Just switch up your alcohol.
That's all you do.
Yeah. Anyways.
Brandy Alexander.
Yep. Before we sign off, give us a couple of your either favorite recipes to make or favorite recipes to eat.
Ooh.
Well, I can tell you that I actually made 2 recipes from my blog today. I'm having them for dinner tonight.
Yum.
And they are?
Because it's Tuesday as we record this. So it's Taco Tuesday.
I was about to say, is it tacos?
And so I made salsa chicken in the Instant Pot.
Yum.
So it's basically, usually I use chicken thighs. I use chicken breasts this time.
I love chicken.
And you just cook them down in the Instant Pot with salsa in them. And we will have I might eat it as loose meat, and also you can make quesadillas from it, that kind of stuff. And then I also made brown rice and bean bake as a side.
That sounds so good.
And so
I
that's
would
like
love that.
And so what I'll do for me, I will have a bowl meal where I'll use the brown rice and bean bake, and then have a little bit of the salsa chicken with it, and
These all sound very Mediterranean.
They go together very, very well.
Mm-hmm.
Another one I love is we both love actually is it's a zucchini casserole with ground beef. And it's kind of a casserole without carbs. You know, there's no rice, no noodles, nothing like that. Tomato-y type sauce. And I do have a lot of cheese. I'm just going to tell you right now. One of my sayings is there's no such thing as too much cheese.
I met a person like a week ago that said they hated cheese. And I actually felt sad for them.
That is sad. That's a very sad person.
I've heard of people that don't really like bread. I've never met a single human being that doesn't like cheese.
Wow.
They didn't not like it. They hated cheese.
Really?
What is wrong with you?
How can that be? I don't understand.
No idea.
They
Anyways,
clearly haven't tried enough flavors. Because
no,
all
like,
cheese is not the same.
like quesadillas, you don't like
Right. Come on.
cheese dip, you don't like, pasta with mozzarella stick, like there's anyways.
Well, and and the thing
They're
is,
lost.
also I cannot handle processed cheese. You
Okay.
know, like my body does
Fact.
not like processed cheese at all.
Yeah.
So if that's all I had ever been exposed to, I might tell you that I didn't like cheese.
That's true. That's true.
That's a good point.
Is the processed cheese like the kind that come in a bag though?
Well, or like Cheese Whiz.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's processed cheese.
Yeah.
American singles.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I don't eat that cheese either.
Right. Right.
I can see
it's
why
not
if you
real.
if you had only like Velveeta, you wouldn't like I don't really like that kind of cheese either.
Right. It's because it's not cheese. So
Yeah.
no,
Product.
it's
Cheese-
just pretend.
Cheese product. Ugh.
Sula, it has been absolutely amazing talking to you. And I cannot wait to promote sulandspice.com.
I'm gonna tell everyone at work tomorrow. Especially
That would
about
be
the desserts.
awesome.
We were just talking about desserts. And so I'm like, now I'm gonna tell everyone about the desserts. But thank you again.
There are quite a few. I
Yeah.
have to admit.
They all look so good.
But, the thing is, my son works at he's a mechanical engineer, and he works at a
Mhm.
factory in Wisconsin. And I realized that these guys have a serious sweet tooth. And I see him every Friday because I
Mhm.
babysit for his son, so my grandson.
Mhm.
And it has become my habit that every Friday morning I show up with treats for him to take to work. So I can make the stuff. I can have one, and then it leaves the house. It's great. Because otherwise I would eat the entire batch of fudge. I would eat the whole thing. No problem.
I do want to try the Nutella Fudge. I forgot to get Nutella. I didn't put it on my list. That's why I forgot it. So that
It's-
looks really yummy too.
It's really good. It is. It's so easy, and it honestly is so good. I really do recommend anybody that wants to try a fudge, that one. 3 ingredients, microwave it. It's all good. And honestly, just do contact me if you have questions. Okay.
Please, she's begging you.
I will. I
Oh.
will.
Okay.
I don't know. My concoctions are starting to come out to be kind of good. So
Right?
people don't like the consistency of regular Jello, but they like a harder, more firm Jello. Follow Robin's recipe. I can help you with it.
Well, it's making me cry.
Yes, definitely.
All right. Well, thank you again, Sula. And
Well, thank you guys for having me. This was too fun.
it was. And to our listeners, stay awesome.
And keep reaching for your anything.
Bye, guys.
See you later.